Hey, I'm Tim Coleman, and today I'm going to talk about plastic pollution and how it affects our insects in rivers and streams. And we often hear about plastic in the oceans or how it affects marine life like turtles and fish. But did you know that plastic is now showing up in homes of tiny, tiny micro, macro invertebrates called caddisflies? And in this presentation, I'm going to share what these insects do and how the pollution is changing their behavior and why it matters for our health of our waters. Now, what are caddisflies? Not a lot of people know. Caddisflies are very, very small aquatic insects that spend most of their life early living as larvae in freshwater. And what makes them so unique is that they build protective cases around their bodies using materials like sand, twigs, leaves, and small pebbles. Now, their bodies are very grub-like. They have the head and arms, but the rest of it is very grub-like. It's very soft, so they need to protect themselves. And these cases are stuck together using silk that the larvae produce, which is kind of like underwater glue. That makes like they glue all the stuff together. And these cases protect them from predators and help them blend into their surroundings. Because of this behavior, scientists call them the underwater architects. Now, caddisflies also play a very important role in the freshwater ecosystem. They help break down plant matter and are a vital food source for trout and other fish and animals that live inside the streams. Their presence helps scientists indicate water quality. And if the caddisflies are doing well, it often usually means that the stream is healthy. Now, microplastics in fresh water. Now, the plastic, specifically microplastics. These are tiny particles of plastic, less than 5 millimeters in size. So they're very tiny. And they come from things like synthetic clothing, packaging materials, and litter that breaks down into smaller pieces over time. Microplastics, they make their way into rivers and streams through pollution, littering, stormwater runoff, and wastewater treatment plants. It's kind of inevitable. It happens, it's going to happen until we figure out how to stop it. Now, even though a lot of attention is given to microplastics in the ocean, recent research shows that freshwater ecosystems are also heavily polluted. Synthetic fibers and plastics have been found in atmospheric fallout and stormwater, meaning that they can travel far and wide before settling into rivers and lakes, into the sediment. Now, caddisflies use this plastic in their cases. So what happens when there are more microplastics than natural materials? Caddisflies begin using plastics in their case building. A recent study by Stewart looked at caddisfly cases from the past 50 years and found that more recent ones contained fragments of plastic. This means that as plastic pollution is increased, it has started to replace natural materials in these insects' habitats. Now, this is where the problem begins. Plastic isn't just a harmless substitute. It can make the cases less stable or easier for predators to see. And it showed that exposure to microplastics changed the behavior of aquatic insects and increased their mortality. So even if a caddisfly survives using a plastic case, its chances of living a full life are a lot lower. Now, why does this matter? It's just a little bug, you know. It's sad for insects, but how does it affect us? The answer is it affects us a lot. Caddisflies are a key part of the food chain, and without proper food chain, fish and other predators inside of the streams don't have food. Now, the populations could decline, and it could impact fish that really rely on them. More broadly, the fact that plastic is affecting organisms at such a small level shows how deeply pollution has entered our ecosystems. Researchers like Wagner explain that microplastics can affect digestion, feeding, and overall health in many freshwater invertebrates. These freshwater invertebrates are very sensitive. They're sensitive to the temperature, the salinity, and the pH levels of every different stream. So one tiny throw off of that can cascade their entire population. And since many of these animals are foundational to freshwater food webs, their decline could lead to a ripple effect throughout the entire ecosystem of the water. Without them, nothing can eat. So, in the bigger picture, a graph from Adam Yang and Nowak shows how microplastic concentrations in freshwater vary across regions, but they are present almost everywhere. Some sites have incredibly high concentrations, especially near urban or industrial areas. So all of this runoff from different like factories and homes and pollution, it really varies across regions, but it always makes its way into freshwater streams and rivers, and not a lot of research is being done on it because a lot of people are focused on the ocean, which I understand the ocean pollution is very bad, but the freshwater bugs help like food sources. Like a lot of our food sources are fresh, like salmon. Salmon can be freshwater, trout, very sensitive species that could be totally knocked off the food chain because of plastic pollution. Now, caddisflies, by unintentionally incorporating plastic into their lives, serve as warning signs. They're bioindicators that help scientists understand the extent of plastic pollution. And if we can track how their behavior changes, we can learn where pollution is worst and focus cleanup efforts. It's scary because of how tiny these creatures are and how plastic's there. If it was like like a whale, or like we've seen some whales get caught in plastic nets and fish get caught in like soda can holders, but these microplastics are into the tiniest cracks of the environment and ecosystems, and it's scary. Now, what can we do? How can we reduce this? So, in my opinion, first, we can reduce our use of single-use plastic, things like plastic bags, straws, and packaging. Second, we can support better wastewater treatment and stormwater management so pollution and fewer plastics end up in rivers. And third, we continue to support scientific research that monitors these changes and helps us find long-term solutions. If we just throw our hands up and give up, it's not really going to help anything. It's not going to help the fish. It's not going to help the bugs. And in conclusion, caddisflies are more than just tiny bugs in a stream. They are storytellers of environmental change. The fact that they are using plastic to build their homes shows us how deeply human waste has affected even the most hidden parts of nature. By listening to what these insects are telling us through population and behavioral changes, we can take steps to protect not just them, but the entire freshwater ecosystems. Thank you for watching, and I hope you gave this something to think about the next time you see a stream or water near your home. Thank you.